Most students overthink SAT statistics. But what if I told you you can do this question within a second? You don't have to waste time. Stick around. I'm going to give you a crash course on all the questions they will ask you on the SAT regarding statistics. Simple, straightforward. As you can see, the first thing you have to know is frequency. Frequency is based on the definition, how many times things is occurring. There's different kind of frequency. There's 3 types. It does not matter. You just have to recognize it. The first one is just the raw frequency data. As you can see, number of times an individual visit the library. And this is the times 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the number? 4 students went to the library once, 5 twice, 9 students went there 3 times, and 15 4 times. That's all. And that's the frequency that you can draw a graph on it, you can draw a histogram, whatever. But just know when they give you this value, it means what? Raw frequency. That means there's 5 students that went to the library twice, not once. The next thing is relative frequency. Relative frequency is a little bit different. It's basically specific, but basically proportional. It's probability. Whenever you see relative, think about probability. Forget about frequency anymore. As you can see on the table, this is the table that shows condition and subject type for 200 textbooks at the bookstore. They give you different bookstore, biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy, and they give you total. They want you to calculate the probability that a textbook chosen at random will be a new textbook. So you take a look at it and say how many books are new. Then you got to figure it out. But the idea is to know that when you see that, they're talking about probability. So the part, this is the whole. That's why you can get fractions, 25% and all those things. So that's the first thing. This third one is a little bit complicated, but it's the same thing. Frequency, cumulative. As you go, you add on. You start with 1, the next one 2. So the interval is 2, but the actual number is going to be 3 because you keep on adding on based on what you have already. So you add everything as you go, right? The key is when they give you this inequality, like less than 70% or equal to, that means include all the scores below and including 70. So watch for that. Those are the things that the SAT can trap you on. These are the tips. Stop this video, write this down, pay attention. This is what you want to know. That whole at most and at least is always trap people, right? When they say at most, you cannot pass that level. Therefore, include that number. Most is the highest you can go. At least, that means that number and anything that is above it. Include that number. So pay attention and look at the sign. If they give you histogram is a little bit like a diagram, like frequency distribution, but they give you rectangles like that. The most important is the area, not the height. You can have a long height, but the area, the base is very short. This is somebody who is like flat like that. And when you calculate the area, it's greater. Therefore, when you see histogram, make sure you're looking at the area, not the height that is given. That's always a trap. The next one is this. Always you have to know the mean, median, and the mode. The mean is just the average, the sum of the numbers divided by the normal frequency, right? I mean, 20 times, right? This is very, very important in terms of something that the SAT usually asks all the time. You have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they ask you to calculate the mean. You had it, divide by the number of times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I give you an outlier, the next number is about 25. Is going to do what? Affect your mean. So the mean is very sensitive to an outlier. If the numbers are close to each other, yeah, the mean doesn't care. But if you spread them apart, especially if 1 or 2 is like way out of the ordinary, 1, 2, 3, 4, you should expect the next number to be 5 or 6. But now you have 25 or 100, is going to push the mean towards that guy. This is what the SAT is going to ask you. Big extreme value can affect the mean a lot. Don't forget about that. I want you to pay attention to that. When you see it, that's what they're testing. Now, the median is the middle number. And this is usually, it doesn't care. The middle number is going to be the same, like numbers I gave you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I put 25 here, right? The middle number is still going to be what? The middle number is going to be around here. And so it does not get affected whether you have a extreme number or not, but the mean will be mad, will be affected. Pay attention. That's always tested. Therefore, the median does not respond to what? An outlier, right? If you have value that is crazy, make sure that the median stays the same. The mode, usually they don't test it that much, but it's the what? The one with the highest number, right? The number that appear most. And sometimes they will ask you, but most of the time, just don't pay attention too much if they ask you. But you can recognize it and say, oh, 2 occur 40 times. Therefore, that's the mode. Now, this is a distribution picture. This is usually what they will give you. And you can figure out, I want you to draw this diagram. If you draw this diagram, you'll be golden. How? It's more pictorial. You can see what is happening. If you draw the distribution, this is the normal distribution where everybody is. Like you see from here to here is equal to each other. Normal distribution. And this mean is right in the middle. And the mode is also going to be there, right? The median is also going to be right in the middle if you have normal distribution. But if there is a shift, if there's a leftward or rightward, let's deal with the leftward, negative movement. So if the graph moves towards here, that means you have an outlier that going all the way here like that. You see, most of the number is still going to be here, but there's one that is moving way extreme. You see who is going to be dragged along is the mean. The mean gets dragged along. The median doesn't move that much. It may move a little bit, but it's still not going to get affected. But you have to know that the mean will be less than the median and the mode. If you shift to the right, the mean is now to the right. And therefore, the mean has to be greater than the median and the mode. This is usually what they will ask you on the SAT. Pay attention because it's a straightforward question, and then you're going to mix it if you don't know the distribution. And this is what it means. In a normal distribution, the mean is the same as the mode and the median. But if you negatively skew the data towards the left, what is going to happen? The mean is smaller, right, than the median and the mode. It will move towards the right as the image facing you, then the mean is going to get bigger and the median and the mode. This is what they give you a bunch of statements. They say which one you're comparing. Very, very straightforward. By looking at it, you can figure it out. Now, most people don't like the standard deviation, but it's simple. It means the spread of the numbers from the mean, right? You have to have a mean to be able to calculate the standard deviation. So if the mean is 20, and all your numbers are like 60, 70, 80, they're far away from the mean. But if your other data is like 21, 23, 24, 25, you see this mean is closer to the surrounding variable. That's the standard deviation. So our spread is the numbers from the mean. That's what it means. So if you know that, then you can use it because that's what they're going to ask you. They'll ask you, is the mean going to change? Is the standard deviation going to change based on the mean and what the mean is doing and what are the numbers around the mean? So the smaller the standard deviation, that means the values are closer to each other. What does that mean? The numbers are closer to the mean. So if this is the mean, I'll show you a diagram like that. And they're close to each other like that. This standard deviation is smaller. But if you have something like that, the same mean and the numbers are far apart, you see the numbers are spread, they are not close to each other, the standard deviation is going to get bigger. So you see a diagram to illustrate that. So a larger standard deviation means the values are spread from the mean. And this is what it look like. You see, you have histogram, and if I trace these numbers, you can see what is going to happen. If I trace them, I draw a line on top of it. This is what is the shape is going to look like. Compared to this one, the shape is looking like that. And you can see the numbers, if this is the mean, the numbers are closer to the mean. If this is the mean, the numbers are far apart from the mean. So the larger the spread, the larger the standard deviation. This is a smaller standard deviation. In summary, two graphs with the same mean, right? They can have the same mean, but if the graph is narrow, that means the data is closer to the mean, they're going to have smaller standard deviation. And if it's wider, they're going to have larger standard deviation. And this is how they will test you. You have data comparison. You have to compare the mean, the standard deviation, and how the graph is shifting. That's the key. How is the graph shifting? So we're taking the first one. What is going to happen to the mean? We already talked about it, but this is to re-emphasize that. This first diagram, you have two numbers. Why are the mean are the same? Because initially you see the shape of the graph are the same. There's no screw to the left or right. So the mean are the same initially. If there is a shift, rightward shift, when one of them shifts towards the right, you see the mean is now getting bigger. If this one shifted to the left, it's going to be what? Smaller. So this distribution are usually, you have a mean here, and the values are closer to the mean. Therefore, standard deviation is smaller. But these, look at these values, they all spread apart. Standard deviation is getting bigger and bigger. This is the comparison the SAT wants you to know about. Now, let's see what it look like now here. Sometimes they want to test if you understand the content really well. So how about if you have the same mean? Okay, I have two data, the same mean, right? What is going to happen? I have the same mean, but different standard deviation. Why would that happen? Because the graph shifted, right? Even though they have the same mean, you see that the distribution look the same, right? The shape of the graph is completely normal distribution. So you should expect the mean to be equal to each other, even though the data set may be different. It may be bigger data set, but when you calculate, the mean is still going to be the same. The other thing is they may have different standard deviation. Why? Because of the shift word. As they shift, it affects the standard deviation from each other. You see, this is like spreading, but it has the same what? Shape. Even though it has the same shape, the spread is wider. But you can have the same standard deviation, but different mean. This one is already here. The numbers are here. That's why the mean is different from here. But look at this shape is almost the same as that. That means the distribution from the mean is the same. It's very intimidating, but if you look at it and they give you the data set, try to make sense out of it, because you have just 1 minute to take a look at it. So they give you enough that when you look at it, you say, oh, this is the problem. Scattered plots. Don't complicate things. It is what it is. There's a bunch of lines you draw, and you're trying to picture it that it's a straight line. If you see this, all you need to do is it represents correlation. It's not causation. When you're picking an answer, there is no cause. A and B are not, A is not causing B. There is correlation. There's some factor between them that is leading to that. It doesn't mean one is causing the other. So in this relationship, as X increases, Y increases. This is positive correlation. This one, as X increases, what? The Y decreases. There's a negative correlation. This one, there is no. It's just so many variabilities randomly all over. SAT will ask you this, and it asks you stronger correlation. Look for positive. This is positive. This is stronger correlation. This, I think you need some time, stop the video and pay attention. It's a summary of what we talk about. They will ask you distribution of changes. So you have original data. They give you data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they will say, hey, what is the final mean or median or standard deviation between the two? What happened? If you had a setting adhesion, if you had a normal to the mean, median, mode, extra value, look, adhesion will increase the mean by the same amount. So if in case I had H to the mean mode, and then the range, I don't do anything to it, the mean is going to increase by the amount that I increase, 5, right? The median will do the same thing, but the standard deviation never change from the mean. The spread of the numbers from the mean are going to be the same. Once again, adhesion of a certain number to the mean does not affect the standard deviation. It affects the mean and the median. But if you multiply the mean and the median, especially the mean with certain numbers like 2, 5, 6, 7, the standard deviation will get bigger, the same amount. So multiplication changes standard deviation, mean, and median. Addition of a number only affects the mean and the median by the same amount of addition. This is the SAT tips I want you to know. Standard deviation remain the same if shift only occurs. Shift means you adding a number to it. But if you multiply it, you're spreading the values away, then you have to know that the standard deviation is also going to increase. Line of best fit. This is always a trap. It's basically a bunch of numbers. We're thinking this is what is going to happen, but when we draw the graph and plot them, our line of best fit is what is actually predicted, right? This is we predict something is going to happen, but this is the line we actually got. So pay attention to the information they provide to you, but you can answer certain questions, and I've given you all the possible ways they'll ask you. Upward slope like this. This is a correlation like we saw, right? With the scattered plot, it's the same thing. Positive correlation, there's no causation. If it's going downward, there's a negative correlation. If it's just flat, there's no correlation. Any point above the line of best fit, it means the actual number that we got, that's right. And the line that we expect where it's supposed to be is lower, right? So actual A, that's the number above it, and the predicted is on the line, is less than the actual number, and therefore you have positive residue. A negative residue means it's below the number. That means our actual number is small. This one is small compared to the predicted. The predicted is bigger than the actual number, and that's negative residue. These values look like positive correlation. This is a crash course on the SAT. And I want you to watch this video multiple times before you take the SAT. And this will save you a couple of 3, 4, 5 questions, and you will ace your SAT. Take care of yourself and have a good day.